Now, it is pretty much universally known at this point that the Walt Disney Company within the film industry, within the Hollywood bubble, is by far the most stubborn studio out there. They are the ones that will refuse to withdraw from using DEI or anything to do with their overall ideology or agenda. This is a continuing damaging effect on the Disney Company, all because of an incompetent CEO, Bob Iger, along with the many board of directors over there that are really in full agreement with his overall approach to how he actually plans to establish many of the upcoming live-action remakes of animated classics. One of the most criticized ones of all, by the way, is Snow White 2025, starring Rachel Zegler. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So, one thing that we all know about Snow White 2025 is that it is by far the most unlikable animated movie turned into a live-action movie, and we know that this one in particular, starring Rachel Zegler, is not helping at all because of how insufferable she truly is, and the things that she says when promoting this movie. Now, we already know that the marketing campaign for this film has been a complete disaster, with 2 trailers getting completely destroyed by not just fans of Snow White or anything related to Disney, but also from the general public, generally speaking. We know that a lot of people are rejecting this movie outright. They're boycotting the film. They want nothing to do with this movie. Even families that are supportive of Disney and are really true fans of the character Snow White, even they are actually disregarding this movie and putting it into the trash. Now, moving onwards here, alright, on top of everything, with the Walt Disney Company continuing to engage in damage control over Snow White 25, one monumental development going on now involves more to do with Rachel Zegler getting overly defensive about the trailer backlash and the parodies surrounding the film weeks before its release. Zegler recently delivered the following in the midst of the growing backlash for Snow White 25. I think it's very important being a woman in 2025 because the pressure is all on us, especially when we are given a role as big as Snow White, as I have taken the opportunity to do so. And the criticism that I and the film received is coming from such a toxic place, mainly from men, who, by the way, don't really deserve the chance to criticize a film that's centered on women. Powerful women, I must add, that learn to save society. That's what this film is all about, saving society, and we have many great undertones that we explore that needed to be told for so very long. And to see all the criticism and the parodies mocking this film is not only completely unfair, but I think it just shows the public's own fear and ignorance over our new iteration of Snow White that not only focuses on DEI, but also values the importance of what it means to be a woman, and how we decided to shift away from the original story told in 1937 and from the Brothers Grimm. We just couldn't do something like that again. It would be boring to do that again. What I find to be even more offensive is that we have actual people celebrating the negativity surrounding Snow White. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? That we have actual men and women also celebrating the criticism over this film, and sadly, it's all driven by politics. I'm just pretty sure I know where all of this is coming from and what group it's coming from in particular, and they are going to be so fazed when they realize that many of those same critics are going to line up and see me. It will be a laughable moment, to say the least. And to the critics, all I can say is get a life. To those families boycotting this film, that is no way to act as a parent or to essentially strip away a wonderful and magical story from young audiences. So guys, before I move on, the first thing I really gotta say about this before she spews out more nonsense is that she's really going off about the fact that there are many parodies out there about Snow White 2025, and that there are a lot of, criticism going around right now on social media. There's a lot of criticism going around there, across all forms, I should say, on social media. In fact, both trailers got ratioed to a historic level that we have never seen before under a Disney live-action project. Both trailers, by the way, both the teaser and the full-length trailer are universally rejected, not just by Disney fans, but also by just those that are, catching on to the drama, catching on to the news surrounding Snow White 2025. Now, one thing is for certain is that we know that this movie is all about an agenda, it's all about a message. We know that Rachel literally just confirmed it right here. It's all about saving society and embracing real-world issues. She talked about this numerous times, but she talks about it again and again. It's the same repeated nonsense. She keeps on parroting about this, about what's going on with this new movie and how it basically abolished the story told in 1937 and then the Brothers Grimm tale. And when you abolish that, and when you get rid of that core source material, that's when you know that this is going to be dead on arrival. It's not going to perform well at the box office. In fact, it may very well just be as bad as the Star Wars series The Acolyte that debuted back in the summer of 2024. But I digress. She goes on to continue. This story needs to be shown to younger audiences, and we have parents out there that are so misinformed and driven by the toxicity on social media and misguided by politics. That's the unfortunate series of events that we have had to deal with in this film. But we are still holding strong, and we are still on the road to success for this movie that not only changes Snow White's origins, but also her values and what she fights for in this tale. It is an absolute necessity that we tell a story like this to the next generation for what it means to be a modern female, especially now in 2025 where we are dealing with a very rough year and what's in store for the next 4. People will end up seeing this film regardless of all the supposed online criticism that really just is nothing more than a loud vocal side of the public driven by politics. Everyone will see what we have to offer with a new tale for a Disney princess. So again, this is just really damage control at this point to the maximum. I think at this point, Disney and Rachel Zegler, they're going to say whatever they have to say to really convince people to go ahead and see this film, that this is going to be a box office success, when deep down, they know it to be true. This really is going to be a box office nightmare for them. In fact, it may very well halt any other future live-action projects down the line, like Sword in the Stone, and among others like Hercules, and so many more that are actually now in the works. It's very likely, and they have discussed this before in the past through multiple emergency meetings, that if this movie fails that bad, they may just have to actually put a large, hiatus on many of the live-action projects based on animated tales. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about Rachel Zegler's behavior, especially in light of all the new parodies now coming out of this movie, all of the backlash that is now worsening over time, whether it's for trailer number 1 or trailer number 2. And you're going to see clips coming out in just a couple of days from now, clips for Snow White 2025. Expect that to also backfire completely for the Walt Disney Company, for Rachel Zegler, and how they're going to continue to go into damage control mode and double down mode when it comes to their view of DEI, right? Their view of diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's not going to stop when it comes down to Disney. It's all really them trying to do this out of spite, I feel, at this point. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about Rachel Zegler, the remake for Snow White here, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.